My difference between the length along the front and side is not as significant, but everyone's different. So the size is determined by the upper bust circumference. And that's because the full bust area is totally customizable. Hello, my name is Zanete and I am the designer behind Zanete Knits. Welcome to another one of my pattern deep dives. This time it's on Chorus Camisole. It's a pattern that's coming up shortly, and I just wanted to tell you all about the inspiration and the yarn, gauge, needles, the construction and techniques used and sizing, as well as the possible customizations that this pattern supports. So the inspiration is again a photo on Pinterest, which I saw, and I really fell in love with the detail here that kind of comes from the strap all the way down to the side. And I thought that would be such an interesting construction. So yeah, very, very selfish reasons and very practical reasons, because we are in the summer and it was really quick knit. And as quite a spontaneous idea. So I went to visit a yarn shop in London for Knit in Public Day, and I found the perfect yarn there, which Carol really generously gifted. And so this pattern is created in collaboration with Knit With Me from in London, and I really love how it turned out. I'm using 100% linen yarn from the Rerum Natura. It's called Antigone. Not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but it's a fingering weight yarn or sport weight. I'm not sure. The gauge is 24 stitches in 10 centimeters or 4 by 4 inches. And the row gauge is 32 rows in 10 centimeters, but it's not as crucial as the stitch gauge. The colorways that I've got is Loon as the main color, and the color here for the border, the brown one, is Fev Tonka, so tonka bean, I suppose. But yeah, you only need a little bit of the brown one, and I used less than 2 balls of yarn for the whole top. So quick knit, very interesting construction, and the gauge is of course in stockinette after blocking, working flat and round. I had to use a size 2, that is 2.75 millimeter needle. If you wanted to tighten some things up like the neckline or armholes, then you might consider also having the US size 1 or 2.25 millimeter needles at hand. So the sizing, it comes in 9 sizes, but the size is determined by the upper bust circumference. And that's because the full bust area is totally customizable based on your cup size instead of your full bust measurement. And we do that because there are 5 different options to add bust stars at various lengths, and that is determined by measuring the difference between the length between upper bust and under bust along the front and along the side, and depending on which range or which cup you fall into, you have a specific set of instructions. And this way we can ensure a perfect fit, that it fits around here and here and here perfectly. The construction itself is also quite interesting. We start with a triangle, and we begin at the top here, and we increase until we get to the upper bust or the armpit area. And we put stitches on hold, and we do the same for the other triangle. And then we join both triangles by casting on stitches for the back. And we still continue working flat and making increases here along the sides to create this little wrap until we reach the under bust. And then we will knit a few stitches here together and join everything in the round and continue down to hem. There are 2 options, a straight fit as well as a shaped waist option. I've made the shaped option, But if you like a straight fit, there's the option for you too. And then you can work it as long as you desire. You could even make a dress again. And we end with the same edging that you can see here at the top. And then we go and add the straps. You begin at the back and you pick up 3 stitches for simple I-cord straps that you work from the back all the way to front, and you simply join them here at the top. The straps are adjustable lengths to find the most comfortable fit for you, but once you fix them, they'll remain the same length. So there's no easy way to make the straps adjustable while you're wearing it, because the armhole and the neckline finishing assumes that the straps are fixed on the back and the front. And then we get to the very, very cool, interesting edging. We simply pick up stitches here along the underarm area, along the straps for both armholes. And here is where you have an infinite amount of flexibility. You could either, if you have made the straps quite loose, you could go down a needle size to tighten it up. If it's still quite loose, if you've had to cast on many stitches here at the underarm and you want to tighten it up, you can also work some decreases here along where you've picked up along the rows, because of course the row gauge is not the same as stitch gauge, so here they might not lay flat. For the smaller sizes, it's not as noticeable. I didn't have to do any decreases, but perhaps I should have, because sometimes it does fold back a little bit. So that's my only criticism of my sample, is if I had to do it again, I would have made a bit of decreases here, but it's not a big deal. So it's in the pattern there for you to be careful around there. And then the same goes for picking up stitches for the neckline. The neckline is worked flat because we start here and we end in there. And now I've left mine open because my opening isn't so deep. In fact, I didn't have to add any bust darts myself. My difference between the length along the front and side is not as significant and doesn't require additional treatment, but everyone's different. So if you have ended up with quite an open front, feel free to simply attach both sides with a quick seam, and you can be comfortable and confident that nothing's going to fall out. The techniques that I'm using here are twisted lifted increases, or I've recently discovered that one of the lifted increase, the twisted lifted increase, has been referred to as the Zimmerman invisible increase. But to me, their lifted increase is just twisted to avoid any holes forming. And if you're using plant-based fibers that don't bloom at all and any imperfections are showing, then this is the perfect increase. We're using a backwards loop cast on to join the fronts along the back, and that is a very, very loose cast on, very stretchy. So don't be alarmed if after casting on, joining and trying on for size, it feels huge. It's huge because the gauge can be off by so much if you just knit a few rows after using backwards loop cast on. So if you are uncertain that you might have picked the wrong size, before ripping it all out, I really suggest that you try and pick up stitches along here, along the back, and see how much that cinches the back. And chances are that if you just have enough patience, and when you get to adding the straps and the edging, it will all go back to normal and it will be fine. Another technique we're using is all in the edging. We're using some yarn overs and knit two togethers here to create a more pronounced knot for the eventual knotted knit two together bind off. And if that sounds like gibberish, don't worry, because the pattern has links to little demo videos on YouTube for all these new and exciting techniques. To summarize the customizations, You can make it as long or short as you like. You can customize fully the fit around your chest. You can go for a shaped waist or a straight fit, or you could go unicolor or use two colors like I have here. I'm sure there are more options that you could do. But that's all about the Chorus Camisole. Once again, a huge thanks to Carol for gifting me this yarn. If you're a newsletter subscriber, watch out for an email with your exclusive discount code on the day of the release. If not, there's still time to subscribe if you follow the link in the description. And I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you in the next one.